Hi everyone, welcome to the visual guide for Anabaseios, the 10th Circle. This is the second of the normal raid encounters made available by patch 6.4 in Final Fantasy XIV, The Dark Throne. If you find yourself in a harrowing hell and keep getting caught in a web of mechanics, don't have a meltdown. My name is Miztech and I'll be your raid guide. SILKSPIT will target players with large AoE circle webs that also form a proximity-based tether if too close to other players or the two players on the sides of the center arena. To handle this, web players can move into the corners and edges of the center platform until their tethers disappear, while unaffected players can stack safely in the center. If you happen to still be tethered when the web attack resolves, a spider web will appear between you and what you're tethered to, binding you in place with a stacking debuff timer. If your debuff reaches 5 stacks, you will die. Luckily, other players can run through your spider web to release you before this murders you. Pandemoniac pillars will form 6 soak towers around the platform. At least one player should stand in each one to keep them from exploding and wiping the group. Immediately after, new towers will plop down in the same location of the original towers. Stationary chain constructs will appear over the towers and eventually cause the tower to explode in small AoE circles. Players will need to move away or in between these towers to avoid getting hit. ULTIMA will deal high raid-wide damage and place a 15-second bleed debuff on all players. Healers be ready with those shields and heals. The next set of soak towers will form moving purple laser constructs above each tower that will explode into donut attacks around each tower. Again, players can move away from the towers or stand on top of them to avoid getting hit. Pandemoniac Meltdown will target a player with this lineup marker. The raid will need to stack with them to reduce the incoming damage. This attack still deals a significant amount of damage, so you'll need to mitigate and shield as well. Next up, the primary target will be marked for a double tank buster stack. Both tanks will need to share each hit of this attack with appropriate cooldowns or use an immunity to take all of the hits alone. When the boss casts Entangling Web, 4 large web circles will appear in the corners of the center platform, and multiple smaller web circles will appear under players. Move away from these as necessary. The large webs on the north side of the center platform will cause the formation of web bridges that will allow players to move to the outer platforms over the poison for a short time. Another SILKSPIT cast will target players with tethered web circles again. These players will again need to spread until their tethers disappear. Pandemoniac Ray will have the boss's head turned to face one side of the arena before blasting it for massive damage. Players will need to move to the opposite side as necessary. Parted plumes will form a puddle in the center of the platform that must be avoided. Small cleaves will appear in succession around the puddle and will begin to explode in the same order that they appear. Players can stand next to the first cleave to spawn and wait for them to resolve before moving into that area to avoid the rest of the attacks. Another Entangling webcast will form another web bridge towards one of the side platforms. Players will need to keep this bridge and safe platform in mind for now. The boss will eventually cast Touchdown, and a growing AoE circle will appear in the center platform that will grow until it covers the entire platform. Players will now use the web bridge to cross over onto the safe side platform to avoid the attack. These mechanics will repeat for some time until the boss begins to cast Harrowing Hell. This will deal multiple hits of raid-wide damage before forming a knockback telegraph from the north side of the platform. Healers will need to heal through the damage, and all players will need to reposition to the north edge of the platform to avoid getting knocked off. Wicked Step will form 2 tank soak towers in the east and west. Each tank will need to stand in a tower with cooldowns. At this point, mechanics will repeat until the boss is down. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Up next, we're heading into the 11th Circle. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time.